Do you remember the TV show MacGyver and how he would be thrown into these situations where absolutely everything that could go wrong would go wrong, and he'd roll up his sleeves, get on Twitter, and complain to the entire world about how bad his day was going. He'd get on Facebook and tell all of his friends how miserable things were for him, or how people were talking about him behind his back, or how he was never going to see the light of day, or how things were never going to change and things only got worse for him, and how angry he was that this person or that person was doing things that he didn't think that... Yeah, me neither. My name is Ed Trevors. I'm an Anglican priest in the Diocese of Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island, and I get to serve in the beautiful town of Shelburne, Nova Scotia, in the awesome parish of Christ Church, Shelburne, that sits on the ancestral and the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Life happens, all right? Whether it's good things or it's bad things, things happen in life. We go through every day something new, every day something good, every day something bad. How we live that life is completely up to us. Whereas life just happens to us, how we choose to live it is completely up to us. How we choose to perceive it is completely up to us. It's a practice. It takes a great deal of effort, but you can turn everything up on its head so that when you're having a miserable day, you can see a silver lining. When you're having a sad day, you're able to see the joy. When you're having when you experience a challenge, you're able to see it as an opportunity. It's all about your mindset. MacGyver, he never, ever faced a challenge with the mindset that nothing was ever going to be the same, that he was never going to get through it, that everything was falling apart. He never faced a tragedy, a trauma, a moment of grief as though it was the end of the world. He never wasted his time complaining or griping or moaning, or you can choose your word, to his friends or to the world on Facebook or on social media. See, all complaining does, all griping does, all moaning does, is it spreads whatever negativity you're feeling on the inside, it spreads it with the world around you. So it just multiplies it. It makes it worse. It makes it worse for everybody, and not just you. You end up sharing this toxin, this poison, with everybody else. And as you share that toxin, you end up wasting one of the most valuable commodities you have in this world, which is your time. Because when you think about it, whether you experience a good thing or a bad thing, you have to experience it. Whether you have a good job to do or a crappy job to do, you have to do it. Whether you have to spend time with a person you like or a person you dislike, you still may have to do it. When we experience challenges in life, oftentimes it's not up to us whether or not we're going to experience it. It's not up to us whether or not we are going to face the challenges. It's not up to us whether or not we are going to live through the grief. Those are things that we have no choice in. But we can choose not to waste our time and energy complaining about it. We can choose not to waste our time and our energy letting the whole world know how hard done by we are. There's a passage in the Gospel of Matthew. It's Matthew chapter 6. And in it, Jesus is talking to people about fasting. Now, fasting is something that you do where you don't eat food, you drink water, and that's about it. But Jesus noticed that a lot of people were fasting, and they were letting everybody know that they were fasting. Oh my God, I'm fasting again today. Can't you tell? And these people would be They would look horrible. Their clothes would be ratty and draggy. They would make sure that the entire world knew not only that they were fasting by telling everybody, but they would make sure the entire world knew just how hard it was for them to fast. They let everybody they encounter know what an absolute special kind of person they are, that they were willing to go through this suffering and through this chaos. They were willing to go through this tumultuous time of not eating food. And they did it because they wanted people to know. They did it because they wanted that faux sympathy and compassion that happens when you tell people how hard life is. And Jesus says, don't be like that. He says, as a matter of fact, smile, wash up, put on clean clothes. Don't tell people how hard it is. Don't let on that this fasting is taxing you to such a great extent. Be joyful. You're doing something that's of real value to you. You're doing something that's going to build up character and perseverance and discipline. See it as a blessing. See this hard work as a blessing. See it as an opportunity to show the world what you're made of. But don't grumble about it. Don't complain about it. Don't make a fuss over it. For all of us who are experiencing tough days or hard times, for those of us who are experiencing grief or confusion or challenges, not only should we not waste our time complaining to the world, not only should we not waste our time trying to gain sympathy from people for something that we have to do, we should find a way to reframe those moments and those experiences so that we see them not as challenges but as opportunities. We see them not as tragedies but as blessings. Tell you a little story. Getting ready to film this today, I actually filmed the entire talk, and I thought I did a pretty decent job. And then I went back to the play. I went and played it back. No sound. My microphone had cut out. The battery had died. And I didn't know. And so not only was this talk ruined, but another talk that I was planning for this week was ruined as well. I had no idea. So I had to do them twice. Now, I know that's not a big deal. That's trivial compared to most of the things that you and I experience on a day-to-day basis. But I was pretty ticked until I realized, okay, I need to keep extra batteries in the house. But it also gave me an opportunity to talk to a friend of mine who told me that if I go to the dollar store, I can get these batteries for $1. It's awesome. I learned a lot. It taught me, and it taught me a lot, and it prepared me for my next experience. And that's how changing our mindset about challenges and griefs and tragedies, and changing our mindset can turn our entire day, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, it can turn it all into a blessing. It can turn it all into something really wonderful. May God bless you. May God keep you. May God make His face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May God continually lift up His countenance upon you, and may you know the peace of being in God's presence. And I pray that you are able to practice this reframing, that you're able to practice seeing difficulties in a new way that provides you greater life. Amen.